What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the middle of the map in the blue color, playing as Isis. His name is Kimo. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Poseidon. His name is 3antozz. The map is Tundra. This is game number 3 of their cheeky, friendly, whatever you want to call it, best of 3 they displayed. Winner of this one takes all of the marbles as the victor of this best of 3. Anyways, yes, the map is Tundra. We've got 3antozz sticking with his Poseidon. Kimo deciding to shake things up, going in with his Isis. Now it is Tundra. We have seen Isis players going with Anubites quite a lot recently, so I'll be interested to see if Kimo's going to decide to go in with Anubis Hathor in this game and trying to utilize those myth units to get some sort of an advantage over his opponent. There are a lot of different ways you can play Isis, and I think that players forget that there are a lot of ways to play Isis and feel like there's only 1 or 2 kind of fast heroic ancestors eclipse shenanigans that Isis can do, but Isis has got a whole boatload of strategy at her disposal. So we'll see if Kimo is going to go with any of that or just play very standard safe stuff, and we'll see how it all goes. We are seeing mining camp is up early. Monument for Kimo. This indicates to me that we are probably going to be seeing Anubites. He has got hunting dogs here. He hasn't thrown up an obelisk, so we'll see how it's all going to go, but I do think that the early monument indicates Anubites. And the reason why this is because there's not a whole lot of reason to get this monument early. Like, what are you looking for? Potentially early Flood of the Nile is an option, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Better would be to just get a second town center, get Flood of the Nile a little bit later. Maybe going in with Sphinx, but then again, Sphinx don't quite work as well for Isis as they do for, say, Ra. Not sure what else. There is an option here of maybe Kimo going double monument Anubis Hathor straight away into a fast heroic, making mass Patsukos here, utilizing prosperity plus like 3 monuments hitting the heroic age about 8 minutes. It is a strategy, I guarantee you. We'll see if that's what Kimo is going to be going with. He does have some decent food on the map. And now if we check out 3antozz's base on the other hand, he is going 2 villages on wood, so he's looking like he's going for a fairly fast classical age here, going in with the just kind of standard build order, but 1 less villager on the wood to make it all happen. Going to be eating his hunt right now happily here. So we'll see if this is going to work out or not for 3antozz in this game. We do have the relic over here, the Wedget Eye, the negative 10% myth unit food, gold, and wood cost. So that one's going to help out Kimo a lot if he can get his hands on it. 3antozz not so much, though. Maybe later in the game with those Chimera can come in handy quite a bit. If we check out the other relic on the map, it is the Khopesh of Horus, so definitely want to grab that for both players here and see how that's all going to be going here as Kimo just sitting in his base now with his priest as he scouted out enough, just a little bit short of his temple to get that one up. The villagers are still chopping that gold. I guess there is another option here where maybe this early monument is for Flood of the Nile, but Kimo is going for a Flood of the Nile fast heroic as an option, but he's short on gold, getting himself pickaxe nice and early here. So I'm still very confused as to what Kimo's doing. He's definitely not going for a fast heroic. He's definitely not going for a fast second town center, but fast heroic does make sense now with the fast tech. So we'll see how it's going to go. Temple is coming up. Villager just about to pop out for Kimo, and he will be picking Bast. So we'll see what he's going to pick. He's got a lot of villagers on the gold now. So early prosperity, 3 town centers for Kimo. That's the only thing that makes sense here. Kimo's going 3 town centers in an effort to counter 3antozz or blind counter 3antozz's fast second town center. Because he's casting prosperity this early, he should shoot up to about 800-ish gold. The problem is that he doesn't have the food to get the 3rd town center and support production. He's left the villager on wood as well, just to maybe try and get himself out the husbandry. And now he takes those villagers off and he's jumping straight onto the gold mine here. Kimo, what are you doing? This is so messy. This build here from Kimo is so messy. We'll see if it's going to work. I do not have the highest of hopes here. Kimo's recognizing that he will be needing to get some food out very shortly. He's got the villagers pulling off of the gold mine, going to be coming over here onto his herdables. He can now think about getting himself the husbandry here, dropping that gold off before jumping over here onto those herdables, starting to get that coming through. We do see the centaur is on this location now, going to be harassing these villagers. The pharaoh is here though, plus the sphinx, and the priest does throw one of those special bullets over to 3antozz, as 3antozz now moving in with his Theseus. This is going to be a tough one for Kimo to hold on to. The pharaoh is going to be helping out quite a bit. The sphinx able to chase the centaur down. 5.0 speed versus 5.3 speed though, as the Hippolytes are going to come in, shoot away at the sphinx here. It looks like the pharaoh is about to get taken down, trying to empower up the settlement here, as we do see the centaur has been taken down. The settlement comes up for Kimo, and he's going to be ready to start producing some more of those villagers. He's now at 500 gold, so I mean, one option he could try here is just take everything off gold, come over here onto the herdables to get to the next age. He's coming over onto this location, going to be getting himself these aurochs here. He does have 2 aurochs in that corner of the map here, as we are seeing the sphinx now floating up. Going to be looking to find some villager kills, and he might actually get this as a Hippolyta is walking in. It will be worth it to just right click onto one of these villages. Kimo not paying attention thus far, sees the granary, the Hippolyta is there, and Kimo just going to be continuing to walk in to 3antozz's base here, looking for something to target down here. As he walks in, seeing the town center, going to be looking to start targeting in onto these villages here. There's villages kind of everywhere here for 3antozz, as Kimo's now spotting out this town center as well. And that's going to be essentially just a whole lot of scouting done by Kimo. He's not necessarily looking for a kill, but maybe he'll turn around and try and snipe a village. He's deciding not underneath the town center, instead just going to continue his scouting ways. And now we have barracks down for Kimo. Kimo is making barracks. He's going to be looking to make some spearmen here to counteract those Hippocon that are going to be coming his way. A very, very wild and peculiar build from Kimo now, as he's starting to make farms here. I just go, I don't understand any of this. Let me explain. If this was, I can't tell if Kimo here has gone in with the, I don't know what I'm trying to do as like approach. He's kind of just winging the approach. But Kimo could have gone for a 4-minute advance time, get this town center up instantly, be on this, still have prosperity, be fine, then cast prosperity to get himself farming set up, and then throw up these barracks. That would have been the ordering I would have done in order to go in with this kind of 2 town center spearman defense strategy. Because what is going to happen here is Kimo is going to run out of gold, and he's going to have to fight for this gold mine. And 3antozz should recognize this and be able to deal with this. And one thing is, he hasn't actually spotted the barracks, so he doesn't know that he should be going hoplites here. He sees the spearman now, but what 3antozz can do right now is transition into a more hoplite heavy army, and instead of like the Hippocon Toxotes, which is still going to be fine, but hoplite transition here is very, very strong. And then go for a gold star, 2 town centers, because Kimo is going to be sitting in this classical age for quite some time as he's farming. And we'll see how it's going to go. But if we just see all these farms up, what's he got? He's got himself plow, sacred cats. It doesn't help him out at all at this stage. We are seeing an armory coming down in a bit of a peculiar location there, fixing that one up, as he's continuously pumping out these slingers and spearmen, trying to get that economy sorted. Villagers now pulling off of this location, moving forward onto the gold mine. 3antozz probably has the initiative here if he wants to fight, as he's sitting over here with this Toxotes. We'll see Kimo noticing this. He's going to be able to shoot that down with the slingers. The slingers do so much damage to archers. So now 3antozz has to retreat back, and he has to work out what he's going to do. We are seeing the Sphinx getting some raids in. 3antozz, he's not been in this position very much, I have to say. Like, as somebody who is relatively new to the game, 3antozz has been playing for a while now, but he's relatively new to the game. So a lot of the time you get put into these positions where you haven't seen strategies before. This strategy here from Kimo is not something you would see very often. 2 town center barracks. What do you do against this? And the thing is that the thing that I like about this from Kimo is this is setting himself up for a brutal Ancestors Eclipse timing push with Spearmen, with Slingers, with everything else. The problem is that if TheAntozz had recognized this early enough, he could have very easily tech switched and been fine here. We do see that Kimo is spotting out a second gold mining operation coming down for TheAntozz. TheAntozz might want to start thinking about setting up his walls. Kimo's all over the map though now, so he doesn't have the map control to really do that. So we'll see how this is all going to be going, as now the Spearman going to be turning around, trying to take down these Hippocon here, but Toxotes in the back going to be doing a lot of damage. You do see some nice micro here from TheAntozz trying to pull back his low HP Hippocon, but now it's looking like Kimo is going to have to retreat away as the massive units here too strong for him. We see a cheeky ghost building coming up here, but Kimo going to be able to get through the little gap that was left there. Unfortunate for TheAntozz, but Kimo going to be completely fine here, retreating away. And we're possibly going to be seeing Kimo actually go up to 3 town centers here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kimo go 3 town centers. He's currently housed. He's got 4 houses that he hasn't finished just yet, and he's not going to be noticing that. But if he can force a fight, probably going to be okay. We'll see if he's going to be figuring that out anytime soon. No, not just yet. It's going to be a hot minute until that all comes in. And now Kimo does have the resources to get that 3rd town center if he wants to. Medium Slingers, Medium Spearman has come in, and that's going to be enough to force TheAntozz to have to retreat away. It's starting to be very scary for those Hippocon to fight against those Spearmen until you get those extra upgrades. They're not the best. So we'll see how it's all going to shape up here as Kimo pulling back, and he is starting to get those houses down now. Boom, boom, boom. 3 villagers on these houses. 1 villager over here sorting that out. Immediately jumps to 104 of 106 population. TheAntozz 119 population, starting to throw down his farms. And we do see that 3rd town center coming in. Had Kimo gone heroic age here, I think he would have been in a much, much better position in this 3rd town center. Just saying, I think Kimo would have been very, very good here with Ancestors Eclipse push. But going for the 3rd town center, more safe in a way. And we'll see how it's all going to go. The Slingers need to be microed here. We do see Kimo doing some nice micro, grabbing just a couple of Slingers. If you get 2 handfuls of Slingers and attack separate Toxotes with them, they're going to be able to shoot them down, kill them much easier than one Toxote getting taken down by a whole bunch of them. And you can kind of see that is what's not happening here, as the Slingers overkill 3 Toxotes that probably could have killed off 4 or 5 if he'd microed that a little bit more specifically. As we are seeing the Hippocon getting chased down by these Spearmen. Nice play by Kimo, as he is currently playing this very, very nicely thus far. More Toxotes are getting taken out. The Spearmen wandering in here. We'll see Kimo pulling back here. He is 114 of 154 supply, but with 4 barracks up, he's going to be up to full supply very fast. I'm sure his villager count is looking very close to 170. To 80, and we do see the cheeky sidewalls coming up for TheAntozz. If you know that your opponent is someone who does this, I do think it's well worth it for you to just have stray Spearmen kind of all over the map just to prevent this, because this is so annoying. As a guy who likes to dabble with Egyptian, this is so annoying, and this is something that the top level Poseidon players, Greek players, Norse players, even Atlantean players do sometimes. And it's very, very tough to deal with as an Egyptian player. So we'll see if Kimo's going to be able to deny that. The villagers chilling over here. We do see a random Theseus up here. TheAntozz moving forward, going to be trying to grab this hunt on this location. Very cheeky. Villagers forward over here getting pushed back. Maybe Kimo could be doing the same thing as well, though. That's one option here. With this strategy that Kimo's trying to implement, he could definitely get his own walls up as he does move his Spearman forward. Going to be checking out these villagers here. Maybe trying to get a ghost building too slow there. As TheAntozz going to be getting this town center up. No problem going up to 3 town centers, but Kimo's got the advantage thus far in the game. Cheeky Arctic Wolf being a little bit obnoxious over here. And Kimo's just distracting at this point. Is he going Nephthys? He is going Nephthys. Look at that. This is what I'm talking about. 40 farms in, or 40 villages on food right now for Kimo. Given the strategy he's implementing here, this is exactly what he needs to do. He's maybe got too many villagers on wood. Probably could have taken those off and gone on to gold. Maybe left about 10 or 8 villagers on wood and the rest onto gold. And he would have a fantastic economic distribution right now for the classical age, for the Spearman spams and all of that good stuff here. And we'll see how this is all going to go. 3antozz still getting up some more buildings, still trying to spread out his control over here. We see these spearmen going to be taking down this wall. One thing you should be doing when you take down the walls is grab these spearmen and hit these wall segments so that the entirety of the wall falls instead of just one little segment here. We see 3antozz going up through Aphrodite though. Hits that one nice and early. Let's look at his economic distribution. Very low on the gold right now, but does have himself shaft mine, so should be able to get that very quickly. We see Migdol's stronghold coming up in the corner of the map as the walls coming up over here for 3antozz. He has snuck back onto this location with some villagers here in order to steal that Auroch away from Kimo and prevent Kimo from getting corner control. Meanwhile, we see the Hippocon moving in here. We're taking down those spearmen nicely. More villagers getting raided over here, but Kimo completely fine. Does he have himself crenellations? He does have crenellations here. So that's going to be huge to push 3antozz away, prevent those raids from happening so much. Kimo doesn't have a siege work. So the thing that you do when you go for kind of spearmen shenanigans here is... when you hit the heroic age, you throw down double siege works and get out your siege towers immediately. That way you can just push. You can just push with 3antozz Eclipse. Your opponent can't defend it. And we'll see if Kimo is going to be going for an attack anytime soon. We do have those heavy Hippocon out. Is Kimo getting any upgrades? Yes, he is getting himself the heavy spearman now. As Kimo pulling back, those pigs do get converted here. Ancestors Eclipse getting forced out. Not what he wanted to do. He could have just retreated. There was nothing he really had to worry about here. He's got so much wood in the bank. Where's the market up? I don't see a market. There's the market coming up now for Kimo. But Kimo, he didn't have to answer his Eclipse just yet. He doesn't have any siege. 3antozz going to be very happy with this. He can just retreat back into his base and just wait out the 40 seconds of Ancestors that's remaining here. As Heavy Spearman does come in. And Kimo trying to push and get that damage done. Smenker the second chilling in the back and gets sniped down here by 3antozz. Nice play, but he is losing a lot of units now to the Ancestors. Irrigation coming through for Kimo as well. His market's up. Lots of resources in the bank for Kimo, like a ton of resources. He's not spending them at all. I don't see him getting any armory upgrades. What's he got? He's just got copper shields here. He's going to be going up to the next age. He is picking Osiris. No surprises here. So we do see the Carpenters. Shaft Mine is here as well. And the Spearman trying to push through. Trying to take down all of this stuff here. And now Kimo retreating back. He's starting to get those Chariot Archers out. Chariot Archers Spearman is the composition right now for Kimo. He is going through Osiris. Part of me kind of wishes he went for Thoth here. Because this is one of those situations where Thoth is actually quite good. Because you can... I mean, he's spending favor on all of this random stuff like City of the Dead that he otherwise wouldn't. But you can get access to your the Book of Thoth, get access to those elephants that are super strong, and transition into that and having the access to Meteor as well is not bad. Getting the Phoenix out here. I don't think that Thoth is as suicidal as a lot of people think, especially in a situation like this where maybe Meteor here, Migdol's stronghold, push with all of these resources in the bank that Kimo has. I feel like it could be very, very strong here. But it is looking like Kimo is simply just going to have to retreat away from this location right now as... he doesn't have any units in here. He's trying to make those spearmen out as fast as he can, but very, very short on the gold right now. He can sell resources if he wants to. The Nemean Lion going to absolute town right now as the Scorpion Men are out here for Kimo. Hitting some raids over here. He can take down these villagers. Very nice play to counter raid right now. Villagers moving forward onto this location. He might have to shank down this gate here. So we'll see how that's going to go. The Mercenary Cavalry pushing forward, trying to take these units down. We see the Siege Towers coming out right now for Kimo as he's going to attempt to hold this location. He does have the Monument to the Priest up. There's the Osiris coming forward. How far is 3antozz away from the Mythic Age? He is 50% Hephaestus right now, so he's going to have access to that Plenty Vault and see what he's going to be able to do here. As the Siege Towers doing their darndest to... add some relevance in this fight. Meanwhile, these chariot archers are getting taken out here. We see up on this location, the Scorpion Man will be able to take down some villagers, and 3antozz is not paying attention here. We don't see any Atlanta up here. The villagers getting pulled away. There are villagers up on this gold mine, some stables up here as well. We do see the Spearman trying to take this location out as the Son of Osiris does come in. 672 HP worth of Son of Osiris. We'll see how long and how much value this Son of Osiris is going to be able to do here as he is pushing forward, trying to take down these Toxotes. Big damage done onto the Toxotes here. Nice play. There's the Hephaestus through, though. There is the mummy in here. We see the Plenty Vault getting thrown down by 3antozz as the Scorpion Man is finally getting taken down. These villagers trying to take down these gates over here. I'd love to see Kimo throwing up some more decisive walls here, cutting this location off, cutting this location off, cutting this location off, but it's not happening just yet. There's the Colossus here, but there is a Son of Osiris here to push that one back. Now Kimo is going to be able to start pushing through the stables, utilizing these siege towers. We see the mummy moving in 4.0 speed versus 3.0 speed. Can definitely click onto that Colossus and take that one down if he needs to, and we'll see how it's all going to go. Kimo still pushing forward here. Still doesn't have access to those champion spearmen, but let's look at his economic upgrades. Full economic upgrades. Adds here of wet, sacred cats. He's got quarry. He's got everything he needs right now to have a gigantic economy here. He's going to be going after the siege tower. We do see over here the markets are up, and I'm sure we've got coinage as well. Yes, we do. And he's going to be looking to take down this town center. 3antozz has access to Ceasefire, and he does decide to click that one. 3antozz needs to transition into hoplites yesterday, and he hasn't started to do that just yet. So we'll see how that's going to go. As now the Toxotes moving forward, these Son of Osiris over here is going to have to be careful not to get picked off. Look at the walls Kimo's throwing up here. This guy's a madman, but he still hasn't really secured everything. We do see these walls that Kimo spent so long taking down, getting rebuilt during this ceasefire. Nice play. The reason for hoplites is against the spearmen, against the siege towers. That's your best bet. You don't want to make Hephaestus here because the siege towers will tank too much. You make the hoplites because they're decent against the spearmen and the siege towers. And also you get those militia out as well if I'm getting those technological upgrades. But right now it's looking like Kimo is very heavy on the economy. I think he's got a ton of camel caravans out, maybe too much economy here. How are the armory upgrades looking here? We see champion spearman comes through. We've got some upgrades right now for Kimo, but 3antozz is just going to be waiting it out. He's got himself Forge for Olympus, it looks like, and he's going to be looking to get himself bronze weapons, bronze mail, bronze shields, and then also start working on his iron upgrades. We do see these heavy chariots now going after the trade route of 3antozz, pushing forward. It's looking like Kimo's not going to be able to take this fight. Too many units here. Got to be a little bit careful. The Son of Osiris does get picked up into the siege tower. And we'll see if Kimo is going to be able to escape from this one. 3antozz 145 of 145 population. Kimo 167 of 169 population. We do see some side raids coming over here by Kimo. He needs to be a little bit more specific with those champion chariots. Don't want to be losing the militia. Don't want to be losing the siege tower to just a couple of stray militia here. And we do see the mummy coming over here to help out as the tower's starting to get thrown down for Kimo. He wants to put some serious pressure onto this location. There's now some mercenary cavalry flooding into this location. He's going to be able to start helping take down that those Toxotes. We do see the mummy is in onto this, but with only not quite having the charge for his special attack. Gonna have to wait on that one. 5 seconds away. We'll see if the mummy is going to chase that Colossus away and then kill that one. Looking like it will be able to. Here we go. There's a dead Colossus. The siege engineered towers are out now for Kimo as he's ready to take down the fortified town center. 3antozz happily mining this gold mine up on this location, but about to be running out of it. Still no wall over here for Kimo as he's ready to start pushing in. We've got the siege tower set up. Then the towers follow behind. Catapult now in onto this location as well. Still have to be very careful with that Son of Osiris, trying to keep the mummy alive here. He does manage to do so. Half HP mummy, but those siege towers are getting taken out. But the catapults in the back will end up finishing off this town center, and 3antozz is very much struggling to continue in this game. He's still not full iron here. Kimo here is basically the same armory upgrades, and without a Hephaestus, that's not what you want. You want to be very much in front of your opponent on those armory upgrades. Town center falls for 3antozz, and Kimo is going to be able to move forward and start getting a lot of value here, as we are seeing these champion chariots simply just chilling in the back here with the Son of Osiris to boot. Kimo's still flooding in those mercenary cavalry here as the villagers finish up this tower onto this location. What is happening for Kimo? Not a lot thus far. Still pushing forward. We see the Son of Osiris getting pulled back here, trying to figure out how to push through 3antozz here. There's more mercenary cavalry coming into this location. The chariot archers getting pulled back here. Still trying to get these towers up. Slow pushing this one. Son of Osiris going to be able to do a ton of damage if he chooses to, but instead he's opting to get the guard towers up here. Probably don't need the catapults anymore, so you could probably afford to just let them die and replace these with more kind of spearman sort of units, spearman chariots. Obviously, we got the champion Toxotes are out now for 3antozz. I'm surprised to see no Polyphemus just yet, as now we're starting to see the Heliopoli coming out for 3antozz, but a Polyphemus here would be very, very helpful. Meanwhile, the buildings over on this location are getting taken down. 3antozz moved off of that gold mine here. Where is he getting gold from? I don't see him getting much gold at all in this game thus far, as the Ballista Tower is coming up for Kimo. We see this Heliopoli going to be soaking a lot of damage, but with the Spearmen do get a bonus 100% damage versus those siege towers, so doing 21 damage there. So now some villagers streaming into this location for Kimo, trying to get that one up. Meanwhile, up on this location, we do see Kimo dealing with these side stables nicely, and there's 3antozz's gold mining operation going on, as the Son of Osiris getting targeted down by those Toxotes nicely. But Kimo's garrison micro too good. Every single time you garrison your Son of Osiris, you have to retask your Toxotes back onto the Son of Osiris when he pops back out, so you can't be off doing other stuff here. And now 3antozz still trying to fight. There's still no hoplites out. We are seeing some Tyroi for some reason coming in to the fray, but it's looking as if Kimo will be able to hold this. He's throwing down some barracks on this location. As siege works, more towers. We've got the Ballista towers here, as it's looking like 3antozz, he's throwing up his own towers here to try and hold on, but too little too late, as it's looking like Kimo is very much in control of this game. 3antozz with some good resources in the bank, but he doesn't have 140 population, so how is he supposed to push in here, as Kimo is getting up his Ballista tower, still making a lot of very strong movements with his army, but he's over here trying to deal with these villagers. He broke through the wall. We did see an attempted watchtower here, but Kimo able to push off the gold mine yet again, hurting 3antozz's economy even more here. And Kimo doing some very, very nice stuff here with his Son of Osiris and those champion chariots in the back. And we'll see, Kimo needs to somehow figure out how to keep that Son of Osiris out of the tower range here. Nice play from 3antozz to be taking this one here. We see the misclick from Kimo. Clicked onto a farm there. He's taking a lot of damage now. The villagers trying to get the settlement up. Look at that. Son of Osiris just went from nearly full HP to about a quarter HP remaining, or a third HP remaining here. Nice play from 3antozz to get that damage done, and we do see the Heliopoli going to be denying this town center for the time being. The villagers returning onto their Ballista towers here, making sure they get those back up, and now Kimo is going to be attempting to empower this settlement. Kind of doesn't click it very nicely there, and we do see the Tyroi will be able to break through these stone walls very, very soon. We've got some cavalry over here. Kimo's going to be repairing this one. I would like to see Kimo just calmly rebuild the walls instead of dealing with repairing the wall here. He does manage to take that one down. And the Son of Osiris does end up falling areas. 3antozz has got a little bit of life left in him. 139 of 140 population, no gold income but trading. And we do see the Spearman and Scorpion Man here going to be more than enough to prevent this trade route from being efficient here. You just basically need to move over here and wall this up, and that would be very, very nice. but Kimo just focusing on what's important, making sure he can get full control of this location. More spearmen coming out here. We see those champion chariots getting some good damage done. It's the Heliopolis going to be taking down the Ballista Tower, but with very little HP remaining, 50 HP, and slowly but surely going down as a spearman walking right by it and does end up taking that one down. We see another Migdol stronghold up on the front. Mercenary now starting to stream in. Kimo's got so much wood in the bank. He could really use some more farms here because he's on those spearmen. They take a lot of production here, and we do see that Kimo has decided to stop production of those camel caravans. Finally, as he's setting up these walls over here with the idle camel over here, need to get back into the fight here. And Kimo, it's just the slow push of death here. The slow push of death as the mercenary cavalry doing some good help in this game. You do need to get the guard towers set up, get the hoplite out to deal with those mercenary cavalry, because they don't do as well against hoplite as against, say, Toxotes. Once you get the guard towers up, then you can start feeling okay about dealing with those mercenary cavalry, but it's just not happening. Now we put the settlement up, and 3antozz does not look like he's got the army out to deal with this 135 of 140 population here. Not attempting to make any kind of side build shenanigans happen here. He does have some stray buildings over here which are not going to be helping him out. So you do see some Ballista Tower coming up on this location for Kimo, just making sure he has fully secured it. Now taking down the tower as there's nothing really left here. We see the Pharaoh getting taken down. The town center very, very close to being up here. 3,500, 3,600, and he does manage to just barely finish that one off before 3antozz comes in and hits that. And now Kimo's 4 town centers, he's going to instantly shoot up to 192 population here, and he can start spamming mercenary out of this town center as well, as a Heliopolis going to be trying to take down the town center, but it's going to be too slow for sure here to take this one down. We see those chariot archers doing some good damage here, but Kimo setting up his Ballista Tower as best as he can. Probably just task the villagers over here to take this down. Will be completely fine, but now 3antozz does decide in this moment that it is lost, and he decides to tap out. GG, well played by Kimo. Takes the series 2-1. Nice showing from 3antozz. You can definitely see that 3antozz is definitely making a name for himself here. He's playing very, very solidly, but he's just not able to quite keep up with the Isis here. I absolutely love this strategy from Kimo. I would have preferred him to go 2 town center, semi-fast heroic, or 2 town center max army heroic age into a timing push with siege towers, but getting the 3rd town center obviously very safe. Getting the Son of Osiris helped out a ton, and that was just the game here, as 3antozz not able to make the transition away from Hippocon. If you see your opponent going for barracks units as the Egyptian, as the Poseidon player, you just got to go, all right, he's going barracks units, let's go in with hoplites. Just get in the hoplites, get that transition, allows you to make a pass best into the next age, completely fine. But 3antozz didn't do that, and that was the game. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.